Hi, welcome to I Don't Like What I See in the Mirror. So in today's broadcast, we're going to talk about what to do if you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror. Before I do that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dean Powell and I run a personal development company called Life Talk. I specialize in addictions. Now, not just drugs and alcohol, which seems to be the first thing we think about when we hear the word addiction, but all things addictive. So coffee, sugar, sex, food, porn, gambling, anything addictive. Now, the reason I do this is I grew up in a family that was pretty violent most of the time and very unhealthy. And I later in life became addicted to methamphetamines and alcohol and other addictions until I sorted my shit out and I cleaned my life up. And then after working in rehab centers for a number of years, I discovered that I actually prefer working more holistically with people because they seem to have far better changes and more deeper growth and more longer lasting growth and change in their life. So that's what I do now. So let's get into it, yeah? What do I do if I don't like what I see in the mirror? So I remember a time when I had this painful reality. Every time I looked in the mirror, I couldn't stand what was looking back at me. Now, not only physically, but energetically as well. So everything I saw and everything I felt, I let alone didn't like, I hated. I hated what was looking back at me. My eyes told a story of useless, good for nothing, worthless piece of shit, which is what my father used to tell me all the time. And I obviously subconsciously started to believe that and took that on as a mantra of my own. So I had a client this week who came and saw me who told me the same thing, let alone that he doesn't like what he sees in the mirror, but he literally hates what he sees in the mirror. He said he hates his body, he hates the way he laughs, he hates the sound of his voice, he hates, the way he looks, and the only good thing that he had to say about himself was that he was really motivated and determined to better himself because he hates himself so much. Now, the only problem with that is it's a revolving door. So he'll never ever feel good enough about himself because he's always trying to better himself, which means he always feels broken. So he sets an unachievable benchmark for himself all the time. So the strategy that he's developed means he's building this on a really weak foundation, which means that there's nothing really to, substantial to grow upon. So he said the other thing he couldn't do was he couldn't accept compliments. So every time somebody said something nice about him, he said he'd just change the subject or deflect the conversation and then start talking about something else. And the reason this happens, I had the same thing. Nobody could say anything nice about me because I never believed it. They'd say, oh, Dean, you're so confident, or you're so funny, or you're so courageous. And in my mind, I used to think, yeah, but you don't know about all this other horrible stuff about me. So I just kind of dismissed what they'd said. So the other thing is there was nothing inside for what they were talking about to resonate with. There was no vibrational match because I felt so low and so crap about myself, and there was nothing for it to cling on to and to vibrationally match there. So that's why it's too hard to accept compliments. Now, needless to say, it's very different from me now. Like I can honestly, like with my hand on my heart, tell you that I can look in the mirror now and tell myself that I love myself and know that I love myself. I love the way I look, I love the way I feel, I love the way I sound, I love my dedication. I mean, there was a time I couldn't name 3 things that I actually liked about myself, let alone loved, and now I could rattle off 50. And that doesn't mean that I'm, superficial or that I'm vain or that I'm, like I'm self-centered or egotistical, which I am, all of those things anyway, but it's not from that place, it's from a different place. So just being able to relate to this guy, this client the other day was helpful for him. And, he got some help just knowing that somebody else has been through it and actually moved their way through that. But obviously I want him to experience a lot more than just that. I want him to feel what I feel now. I want him to be able to look in the mirror and say, man, I love this guy, and truly believe and know that he loves that, whoever's looking back at him. So here's some tips then that I wanted to get into to share with you that'll help get you on the road to self-love and self-appreciation. I mean, at least in the beginning, to start to like yourself and to like what you see. And then hopefully, essentially to love yourself. Everyone's heard that cheesy statement, you can't love anyone else until you learn to love yourself. Well, it's true, because you don't know what it feels like. You don't know what it, like the love you try to give somebody else is inauthentic, because you don't know what love feels like if you don't love yourself. When you love yourself and you know what that feels like, then basically you're filling your own bucket, your own self-love bucket. When you don't know how to do that and you're always giving to everybody else and you're trying to love everybody else without loving yourself, then you're continually emptying out your bucket all the time. So it never gets full. When you start to fill your own bucket with self-love, then that starts to overflow because it comes so full, and then that resonates and other people feel that authentic, genuine love. Not the love you think they want to hear. So, tip number 1, change your eyes. Now, I don't mean this literally, don't go and get an operation or plastic surgery. But I mean, change the eyes that you view yourselves with. So, think about what your friends, or especially your close friends, think about the good stuff they say about you. Don't worry about the negative stuff, because we dwell on that all of our lives anyway. Put that aside and just think about the good stuff they say about you. And then see if you can start to see yourself through their eyes and actually believe what they tell you. Because if you don't, what you're basically doing is you're calling them liars. And what kind of friendship is that, yeah? They wouldn't tell you, if they're close and genuine and beautiful friends, they wouldn't tell you something just because, well, maybe people do that just because that's what you want to hear. But if you've got real, authentic friends, listen to what they say, because often they're speaking truth, and what you're believing about yourself is actually a lie. It's the other way around. We've flipped it on its head, yeah? So see if you can see yourself through different eyes. Change your eyes. Your eyes are clouded with negativity. They're clouded with judgment. They're clouded with this whip that you keep beating yourself with, and that doesn't serve you anymore, and it doesn't help you. So see yourself through somebody else's eyes. Number 2, only hear and see good stuff. So one way to do this is to immediately dump the barrage of negativity that you hear as soon as you look at yourself in the mirror, or as soon as you see a reflection of yourself or a photo of yourself. So dump that stuff. And most of it isn't yours anyway, because a lot of it's just, what we've picked up from, especially school, the negative things that we hear at school, and, the things that we heard from our families, and, the things that we believe about ourselves that other people kind of might imply. So just put that aside and dump that. You don't need to hear that. So focus on the good stuff. Now, that means if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see about your face, tell me what you do like about, or tell yourself, sorry, what you do like about your face. So, maybe if you don't like your smile, what do you like about your smile? The fact that you have a smile is amazing. Like a lot of people don't smile. So what do you like about your smile? What do you like about your skin? What do you like about your tummy, your breasts, your genitals, your legs? Go through your whole body. Put aside what you don't like, because you already know that. You don't need to continually tell yourself that anymore. The thing you haven't heard is what you do like. So start to affirm to yourself every single day. Every time you look in the mirror, start to tell yourself what you love about yourself, or what you do like about yourself. Even if you say, oh, look, I don't like my breasts because they're whatever, maybe they're hanging, they're saggy, they're not how I want them. Well, then what do you love about them? Do you love the fact that you've got big breasts? Do you love the fact that you've got small breasts? If you've got skinny little legs, what do you love about your skinny little legs? Do they help you run fast? Are they agile? Do they help you to move quickly? So for me, I used to hate my nose, I used to, because in my perception, I had such a big nose. And it came from my mum's side of the family, the Hagendijks, and they all are well known for having big noses. Now, ironically, this sounds really weird, but the more I focused on my nose, the bigger my nose got. It was the first thing that I ever saw when I saw a reflection of myself, a photo, a reflection. I'd always see my nose and think, oh, that's ginormous, And in my perception, I hated it, and I hated myself because of that. And then when I started to, work on myself and start to do self-love, I started to realize my nose is actually amazing. Like, it's actually saved my life and other people, my family's life a couple of times, because I'm able to smell a fire like you wouldn't believe. And I stopped a commercial building from being burnt down one night because I smelled smoke. And, then I started to appreciate my nose, and then I started to become grateful for my nose. And then the more I started to appreciate and become grateful for it, ironically, the smaller it got. In my perception, obviously my nose didn't grow and shrink, but in my mind it did. So I don't even think about my nose now. And even if anyone mentions having a big nose, it doesn't even resonate with me anymore, because I love what I see now when I look in the mirror. So find things that you love about whatever it is that you don't like, if that makes sense. So number 3, spend quality time in front of the mirror. So they call this mirror. work. Now, when I was a kid, I remember I was about 7 years of age, and I was looking in the mirror and just checking myself out and dancing and mucking around, as kids do, loving myself. And my dad came around the corner into the hallway and yelled at me, like he was really angry, and he yelled at me and he went, "Get away from that mirror, you vain little prick." Like, and he said, "If I see you doing that again, I'll bloody well belt you." And I froze, like, and then in that moment, I learned that it wasn't okay, it wasn't safe to look in the mirror. So that affected me for years and years and years. Now, I don't blame my dad. He had his own stuff going on, obviously, his own issues, and I was the one who took that on after that, and I ran with that for years and years. So in my adult, it took me well into my 40s, where I still couldn't even look in the mirror for more than a few seconds. I'd just look and then go, and I couldn't actually see myself and actually be and just actually be with myself in front of a mirror. So what I recommend is actually spend some time in front of the mirror and actually look at yourself. And again, put away all the negative stuff. Be with yourself. Start to focus on the stuff that you like about yourself. Like, what do you like about your eyes? What do you like about your hair? What do you like about your smile? What do you like about your skin? Maybe see if you can find the compassion in your eyes. So things that aren't just physical. What are the things you love energetically about yourself? See if you can find, sensitivity, caring, generosity, kindness. See if you can find those things in yourself and those qualities. And number 4 is don't listen to other people's opinions of you. They don't matter. One of my old mentors used to say to me, look, what other people think of you is none of your business. And he's so right. And that's such a true statement. It doesn't matter what other people think, guys. So a lot of what we feel about ourselves is actually from other people's opinions. Again, from school, from religions, from siblings, from parents and families when we're growing up. Things like, oh, you sound funny, you look stupid, or you are stupid, or you're dumb, and all those little things that, God, they don't matter. They're not true. Just because somebody says that about you, that doesn't make it true. I believed for years that I was a useless, good-for-nothing piece of shit because that's what my dad told me my whole life. Until I challenged that and went, hang on a minute, just because he thought that doesn't make it true. Why would I want to make that true? So I was the one who was actually empowering that sentence, that opinion, that thought that he had about me, because I was giving it power. Dumb thing to give power to. So then when I realized that, I can leave him with it. No, thank you. I don't want that. That's yours. You keep that shit. I've got enough of my own. I don't need yours, yeah? So change how you see, and don't listen to what other people say about you. Now, there's a difference between, hearing negative feedback or actually constructive criticism, but make sure if it's criticism, it's constructive and that they have your best interests at heart. So there's no need to get into a disagreement with people when they say things about you. So don't argue the point, because then all you're doing is creating more negativity. Just say it in your head. If somebody says something negative about you, change it, challenge it in your head. Say, well, just because you believe that, I don't have to believe that. That's not my opinion, that's yours. You can hang on to that opinion. Keep it for yourself. I don't need that, yeah? So what you're doing is you're not buying into this negativity, and you're not creating more negativity as a result. So always have your own back. Don't let anyone else say anything bad about you. If you stick up for that little kid inside of you, like probably nobody's ever stood up for them before, especially when they were kids, which is why they have all this stuff going on in the first place, how's this kid going to feel? If I raise a child and I say to this kid, you're stupid, you're useless, you're good for nothing, you're worthless, how's that kid going to grow up feeling? Of course. No wonder we grow up feeling the way we do. If I let a child know, you're amazing, you're so generous, you're so gifted, you're so talented, you're so caring, you're so considerate, you're so kind, you have a big heart, you have so much love to give, yeah? How's that child going to grow up feeling? Absolutely amazing. And if I let that child know, I don't care how many mistakes you make, I don't care if you fuck up, I don't care if you make the biggest mistake in the world and the whole world's against you, I'll never turn my back on you because I love and I support you. How's that kid going to feel? So if we can do that for our own child, imagine how we're going to feel. And this is the key, guys, self-love. You've all heard that cheesy statement. Like I said, you can't love yourself until you love somebody else. You can't love anybody else until you love yourself. This is self-love. When you've got your back and you love yourself wholly and solely, no matter what anyone else is saying or thinking about you, love yourself. So, the last thing is number 5, be grateful. So there's a universal law that states when you're grateful, you'll get more. So what that means is if you're grateful for the things that you like about yourself, you'll find more to like about yourself. So whenever you start to see good, you'll vibrationally attract more good. But it works in reverse as well. So whenever you see stuff that you don't like about yourself and the negative stuff, then you'll find more negative stuff about yourself. So focus on the positive stuff. Focus on the stuff you love. Focus on the good stuff. You've done the other stuff for years and years and years. So balance it out now. Balance it out with the stuff that you love, the stuff that actually vibrates at a much higher frequency so that you vibrate at a much higher frequency. So everyone has something good about them, guys. Not everyone is all bad. And we are not our behavior. So there's no such thing as a bad person. There might be bad behavior and they might be doing bad things, but they're not bad people. We're all human beings and we all have something good about us. The more we focus on that, the more good we're going to get. The more negative, the more bad we focus on, the more of that we're going to get. So which one would you rather choose? So be grateful for what you are, be grateful for what you have, and you'll get more. So next time you look in the mirror, tell yourself how much you love yourself. Just try it. Even if you have to, they say fake it till you make it. I don't like that, because fake it till you make it means it implies that you don't already have it. And the truth is you've got everything. So what I like to say is show it until you know it. So show yourself that you love yourself. Say it until you end up believing it. So show it until you know it. So then whenever anybody says anything nice about you or pays you a compliment, there's something for it to resonate with inside. And you thank it. You just say thank you. They're right. Yes, I am loving, I am kind, I am courageous, I am whatever it is. So if you want any more information, guys, if you want to connect with me, if you want to just have a chat, I do free 15-minute consultations. So just head to the website www.lifetalk.com.au or send me an email lifetalk@gmail.com. Until then, have an amazing day and we'll talk next time.